Hello everyone, thanks for joining me in this video. There is indication that the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, has indication of running or interest of running for the office of the president come 2027 presidential race. But this is what I have to say. That is my personal opinion. Should Jonathan eventually dabble into election after leaving office disgracefully, then he will be one of those foolish individuals. There's no reason why Jonathan should even lose the interest or have such intention in the first place. What did Jonathan left in Asorok that could attract him going back to Asorok? Jonathan have 6 years and eventually failed Nigerians. Did they fail Nigerians? Of course. Despite the propaganda sponsored by certain quarters with the intention to achieve their political interests. But looking at it independently, despite the propaganda they had sponsored against a Christian president in 2015 that prompted certain vested interests or power block from the south to move to align with the north to dislodge Jonathan. But what Jonathan did for Nigerians, his government is marred with endemic corruption. That we cannot take away from that. The 2 years of Yaradua of blessed memory outweighs the 6 years of Jonathan. Yaradua showed competence, commitment, political will to address the issues, the problem, the fundamental problems the devouring Nigerians, most especially addressing those needs, listening to the masses and doing their biddings. He has good intention, but he was short-lived. I mean, Yaradua, Umaru Yaradua was the best president Nigeria missed. If he has completed his 8 years, Nigeria wouldn't have been what it is today, honestly. There would have been massive development, decorum, and sense of responsibility and accountability. Umaru came to show leadership, but eventually, well, unfortunately, some persons might argue that nothing good lasts in Nigeria. That could be reference to the demise of Umaru Yar'Adua. Now, Jonathan taking advantage of that to complete the 2 years left and eventually run for another 4 years did not make any impact in Nigeria. There's no any lasting impact that could be recalled with Jonathan. Forget about Jonathan, he was being used as a stooge by the northern blocks, power blocks. They could do whatever they can do with, he was just pumping money to them, seeing how he could pacify them because he has an intention of running for another tenure of 4 years. He built elementary schools, he was pumping billions of dollars to the North, thinking that that will make the North change their mind. Once they are done with you, they are fed up with you, they consider you are so desperate and they could use such opportunity to extort what they need from you and eventually go for another alternative. That is just what happened. Now, when you consider what did Jonathan did, what major or mega projects did Jonathan do for the South? Where he hails from? Bayelsa State, to be precise. Utoke University that has no roads, that is not accessible. What major project did Jonathan did to the southeast? Regardless of that, regardless of the negligence, the people still supported him to run for the first and second election. So what exactly is it coming to do? Definitely, for me, is to disgrace himself. The gang up was intended to frustrate him or, if possibly, annihilate him, just as he admitted. That some persons asked him that they're after his life and the rest of them. He said, well, it's better I die in Asorok than uh, living for any other place. So Jonathan have not shown competence in terms of managerial skills to navigate the country towards economic boom, economic revival. There are so much wastages under Jonathan. There are so much wastages. People were just plundering this country because there was economic oil boom, and there was oil boom, and eventually people were plundering people. You can imagine where it is being reported or allegedly reported that somebody, the cook, one of the cook, carted away with $10 million or thereabout. That is to tell you how much plundering that was going on under Jonathan's administration. The resources of this excess crude sales was not utilized for the common good of Nigerian masses under the watch of Jonathan. Forget about whatever sentiment that could be whipped by anyone, but the truth that Jonathan, with the level of oil boom and the rest of them, he would have done better for Nigerians. And eventually uh, was trying to gather this confab and the rest of them. That was kangaroo approach, desperation approach, and there was no political will to implement that. Otherwise, he would have signed it into law. They were just using that as an opportunity to garner more votes for the re-election bid. And when that fails, of course, everything has to be deserted. So what exactly are the North? Those people he claims he's visiting, he has visited Niger, Babangida, and the rest of them. What did they not see in him that made them fought him? Despite what he was concentrating, in fact, Jonathan government should be described as the government of the North. Jonathan government favored the North, even the West. The Yorubas were crying that they were sidelined under Jonathan's government. They were not given the representation they need. Let alone the Igbos, there was no meaningful project impact. You can imagine. As worse as that is, Jonathan could not fix the second Niger bridge. The project was there. He could not even complete it. Something he could not do in 6 years. Now, what did they think? The 4 years, they have been tried for 6 years. So if it is a different person that have not been given the opportunity or that have not been tried or given the opportunity to try his capacity and the rest of that would have been a different case, just as the case of Peter B. Peter B has not been given the opportunity. Now, that's why I said, what did Jonathan want to do with 4 years while he has 6 years already at the platter of gold? Could not fix or address the problems. What exactly is he coming to do now that the economy has been almost bastardized? There have been insecurity here and there. What Jonathan could not do. He just came as a political stooge to the north, abandoned the entire southern protectorate or southern region, concentrating on the north, and eventually they flopped him. At the end of the day, the same north was used against him. Of course, with the synergy from the south, the Yorubas, the southwest, and some pocket few of the southern or south-south extractions. So nobody can just convince you Jonathan is coming back. Coming to do what? That will be the highest embarrassment, the highest insult Jonathan can do to himself. And definitely, should he contest, he will definitely win. He's going to be the greatest loser. If Jonathan does, if conceiving the idea is already a defeat, conceiving the idea of running for the office of the president is already a defeat for Jonathan. Maybe if he have stayed for just 2 years, and possibly we might say, okay, let's give him another chance. He has intentions, he has good programs, but was not given the opportunity. Now he has good 6 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 years. Could not fix the country, could not address the fundamental problem standing at the continued existence, the foundation of Nigeria need to be revisited. He treated that with kiss glove, romancing the confab implementations. People were waiting him to implement that if that could be the only thing he achieved before exiting office. Of course, that couldn't be. So what else is he coming to do? What else is he coming to do in Asorok? That is just the case. Having intention of, if should he, I told you that that will be the greatest embarrassment he will ever face in life. Jonathan, in having intention of running after 6 years, 2 years as a vice president, 6 years as an executive president of Nigeria, and nothing to show for it, and you are coming to do what? That is the highest embarrassment, just as I've said. If he has not, maybe he spent 2 years and eventually was not given another opportunity, that would have been a different case. Now you have 6 years under your watch at the platter of gold, and you never utilize that to address the fundamental problem within Nigeria. It shows that its regional control of resources and security is being decentralized. Or let the state control their own security architecture, address their peculiar problems as security problems and other problems are localized. Find out how they could resolve their problems. Now, virtually everything has been bastardized by the APC government. So what is the North looking for in Jonathan that they never saw over 10 years ago? That they could not give him the support he needed for the re-election bid. One thing is very clear. They're not aware of anyone that could not be controlled, that could not be easily manipulated. That is the reason why they could be calling for Jonathan to come back, because Jonathan was so pliable in their hands. They could demand whatever billions of dollars, they could demand whatever. He was just doing everything to please the North. Eventually, the North plundered the country called Nigeria under the watch of Jonathan. Now they are considering that opportunity almost impossible because of the person of Ashiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the president. It's not somebody you could push over. He have told you you have your turn, as the Fulanis have their turn. So he's going to step into the shoe of Buhari, and that is exactly what he's doing. He told you what he's going to do, and they're seeing it before, of course, their very eyes, and they could not believe it. They thought possibly he might not survive beyond 2 years in office. To their utter chagrin and disappointment, they are seeing him calling for another 2027. That sends a very shocking wave down their spine. They thought perhaps, as people rumored during the election, 2023 election, that Tinubu was incapacitated, Tinubu was wearing on his body, Tinubu could not stand very well, Tinubu that and is very sick. He has a terminal sick and the rest of them. Possibly some have speculated that he might not complete 1 year in office, but he have hit 2 years going, looking for 2027. So that was the greatest shock, miscalculation. If not, they wouldn't have given Tinubu such opportunity. If they knew that what they projected might not come true as they desired, definitely Tinubu wouldn't have been given the opportunity because they do not trust an average Yoruba man. Just the way they feared Awolowo, even when Awolowo begged, give me 1 day, just 24 hours to be the president of Nigeria. They knew that Tinubu is a student of Awolowo, either by omission or by commission. And be that, of course, he's from the same ethnic nationality with Awolowo. So they understood that giving power could not be trusted in the hands of the Yorubas, just as they are afraid of the Igbos, for known, afraid of known. So Tinubu is not giving them that chance to manipulate his administration. In fact, he's doing everything to strangulate every opportunity they may have to loot within his government. You can see now they are now the one speaking against, fighting against Tinubu, warning against him that is now running a tribal-centric government, globalization of Nigeria, that virtually everything, every sensitive parastatus is being headed by the Yoruba man or woman under the watch of Tinubu. And they can't do anything otherwise. And that, of course, was a very shocking development for them. They were stripped of all the opportunity they could use to, to recall, to have access to the common resources of Nigeria and then use it to fight Tinubu. That was what Tinubu did. He was able to take that away from them, so they could not use the resources of the state to stage either coup or any other means of getting out of office. So that did not go down with an average northern oligarch who is so desperate for power. They are not calling Jonathan there to come back because they love Jonathan. They believe Jonathan could be very loyal to them and could be manipulative. I mean, they could use Jonathan to achieve whatever intentions they have and remain relevant. So they are still afraid of Tinubu, and that is the reason why the Southerners must be very careful. I mean, we're interacting and discussing the issues of Nigerian politics today. Should Jonathan return office, why should a Southerner vote for him? He has enjoyed his 4 years, his 6 years. And the impact, his presence wasn't felt in the entire southern region. His presence was not felt in the southwest, of course, they were even launching a campaign of canoli against him. It was not even felt in his own region, the south. Needless to talk about the Southeast. He never did anything. Not even one major road was fixed. Look at how dilapidated the roads are in the eastern region. Even in Utuke, there are no roads, accessible roads. What could have stopped him to build bridges, to float very functional road network? He was busy concentrating in the north, doing whatever he could. I mean, he expended the resources of this country, both and trying to appease, trying to get the favor, the sympathy of the north and the rest of them. Infrastructure, he invested heavily on infrastructures and the rest of them. In the north, he didn't consider replicating the same to the southern region. The reason why even an average Yoruba then was against him. The Igbos have learned, however, odious and exacerbating, to keep their composure, regardless of the fact that he never considered doing anything for the Igbos. The Igbos still stood with him in that 2015 election, despite neglecting Igbos for complete 6 years, making empty promises. It is very bitter experience, a very unfortunate experience. And I strongly believe no Igbo man will definitely vote for Goodluck Jonathan, citing his past antecedents. What is he coming there to do? What exactly is he coming there to do? He has the opportunity to turn Nigeria from consumption to production. He has the opportunity to stabilize with the oil boom and the rest of them. To stabilize at least the power generation. Let Nigerians have light. At least wake up and sleep with light. If not for one day. He never achieved that. What again? We never had good road network system and the rest of them with enormous resources at his disposal. So it is quite a very disturbing development. If it were to be P2B have not tested power. Of course, he has been within the corridor of power as an ex-governor of 2 terms. And we saw he is the only governor, I stand to be corrected, who throughout his periods in office, throughout the period of 8 years, never borrowed a dime, and yet have to save. He made very remarkable impact, and at the end have to leave hundreds of thousands, hundreds of billion nairas in the coffers of the government. He left pounds in millions, sterling in millions, tens of millions. He left billions of naira to the governor coffers of Anambra State. If he is the one that should be given the opportunity, that would have been a different case because he had been tested and tried. So if he's given the 4 years, then let us try P2B and eventually see what he could make of that 4 years. Jonathan has 6 years already. 6 years is not enough. Is it over time that will be enough? If your salary is not enough, it's over time that will be enough for you. So Jonathan should go and sit down and avoid this embarrassment. He should remain with the honors and international recognitions. Of course, he has enjoyed in the past 10 years. So he shouldn't dent his reputation and belittle himself, stooping too low to go to pools. What did he read there? That he needed to go there. He needed to go back to Egypt, where he had left 10 years ago. Let's have our own take regarding this development. Always a pleasure with Chicos and Debo.